Good day and welcome to A Rich and Abundant Life. My name is Martha and I'm talking on a topic or a subject that may, if you're finding yourself on my page, may resonate with you. And so today we are talking about our money story. And over the past several days, we have been talking about our money story. And well, what does that have to do with a rich and abundant life? And that's what it comes down to. So if you want to find more information on this, I encourage you, if you've landed on my For You page, this might be for you, to go to Martha24 Burdett on YouTube. I have a longer video posted there that will really unpack my personal journey as a person who is sharing in what I've learned, hopefully empowering you, giving you the tools to empower yourself. And that's really what it's about, is I'm sharing some of the things I've learned, going through my own storytelling, understanding myself, learning how to become my best possible self. And I don't claim to be a master. No, I'm still on a journey. But where I'm at and where you're at will be different. And it's okay. You can share your story at any stage. Don't let anybody give you the big lie that you cannot be successful at something because you're at a beginning stage, because we all start somewhere, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong way of doing things. It's about learning about self and becoming our best self, okay? So there are different stages, and so we start at beginning, like I said, intermediate, advanced, expert, and master, as we climb the ladder of self-reflection. Also, I want to be clear that I am not, what I am not is I'm not a psychologist. I am not a money advisor. But what I am is a person who can become a personal coach, a mentor, and I've done this work. So I have a background and history in this, so I've facilitated a lot of different things, and I've supported other people to become empowered. So I didn't tell them what to do, I just gave them the tools, because it is more valuable to give people the tools to be able to direct their own journey, because we are unique in so many ways and we are skilled in so many ways. And this is us. This is a time of self-discovery, which is so freaking awesome. And I want to share that with you. So join me on my page where you will find more information. And because I'm just at the stage of building my brand, there will be limited videos, but that's so exciting. It's like a series of things that you're going to get excited about, get to see once a week, the bigger story. You know, you look forward to finding more information. If this resonates with you, if this is where you're at in life. Okay, cheers. I want to offer you a blessed day. I hope you're more joyous, starting to feel more positive about life, and I encourage you to take those steps. Let's get into it a bit and unwrap a little bit. And so I want to start first of all by just sharing something that you could use daily to start. If you're in a situation where you're ready to start moving forward and not just goal setting, you're committed, and that you want to make some simple changes. One of the things that really resonated with me is this little blurb, and it was by an author, and I'm going to do that reveal here today. So that's going to be right here. You're going to get to see one of the people that influenced changing my mind, changing my mindset, because it is it's psychology that helps us to navigate in this world. All right. I allow for magic and abundance to enter my life. Money comes to me abundantly and freely. I see it everywhere. I'm a magnet for money. So learning how to be grateful, even for one penny, this is an important step in understanding our money stories. So hopefully many of you have sat and kind of went through, if you've joined me in my previous videos, and you took the time to sit down and write your money story, and maybe you don't know what to do with it. Well, that's why we're walking this journey together. We're walking this journey step by step together. We're learning together. I'm growing as you grow. I'm growing at a different rate because my journey is very different than yours. My goals are very different than yours. So I'm working towards achieving different goals. And in my money story today, I am identifying, all the wounds throughout my life and understanding my relationship with money. And so as I unpacked my money story, I kind of went through it and saw, where it comes from, how it's impacted my current financial situation, and how can I continue to grow as a person to reaching my goals, to achieving my goals in life, which is to become rich and abundant. And so that, is very broad in itself because it means a multitude of things. It doesn't just mean being full of money in my bank. It doesn't mean that money is just flowing through into me like everywhere I go. But what it does mean is that I am building a healthy relationship with everything in my life, everything, all of my relationships, which includes money. So I needed to really understand how money plays a role in my life. And so I started to go through and do some research because everything begins somewhere. And part of that is going to people who have mastered. So that's where, you begin, but you need to go to masters. So there are people who have mastered this art. If I want to become a master at something, I must begin as a beginner, okay? If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So that is the beginning stage. So my money story kind of goes back, and I want to share that a little bit with you before I unpack a few other things. My money story begins being with my aunt and uncle who raised me from the age of 1 until I was, I believe, just before my 10th birthday. They had me for several years. So for 9 years, they influenced my life, and it was a wonderful life. I mean, we were a huge family. There were several brothers and sisters and a mom, my aunt, and my uncle. My aunt stayed home, looked after the family because we were a large family. She made sure everything ran smoothly in the house, and she, made sure everybody had a little job to do. And Dad went out to work, and he was gone for months at a time, weekends. He was a commercial fisherman, so he went out and he owned a commercial boat, and he went out and he fished to bring home the money. Okay, but now because this was seasonal, Dad did other things. He also hunted, and he taught the boys how to hunt. He taught them how to gather food, and we went on food trips to gather food. But here's the thing that I learned from my family at that time is that not only did they feed us, they fed the community. They brought the community along. They were very generous, and in return, I'd always wonder where all this other extra food would come from. But they'd say, oh, so-and-so gave it to us, and and that was a part of like a lifestyle for my introduction. But here is where the trauma begins. Okay, so I learned a little bit about money buys things, but I couldn't have any because the family had it all. It was very budgeted out to support the things that were needed, the priorities. As an Indigenous person, this is the thing that we don't talk about, and we live in a different society even though we embrace our culture, and I think that I enrich myself all the time with those cultural teachings because they are amazing. They are so empowering to me as an individual because that is my roots. Okay, so growing up that way, my understanding of money is that, well, you just don't have any and you can't buy anything. And so I started to collect bottles to get money so I could go and buy maybe candy or other things. And at some point I received, Dad would give us each 50 cents to go to the store, you know, every 2 weeks. And that was kind of our allowance at the time in the 70s. I mean, that was a long time ago, where 50 cents, you know, it went a long ways. But yeah, that was my money story, is that we just didn't have a lot. And I didn't understand, because at the age of 9, I really started to ask questions. And I didn't understand why my family wouldn't buy presents for birthdays or celebrate birthdays. And I didn't understand why, because other people celebrated. And it was my birthday coming up, which is on Monday, this Monday. And at that time, you know, I was really hurt because I wanted to have a big party like everyone else. I wanted to be normal, so to speak. So that was like an understanding. It was normal for other people. And that's something that we tend to focus on, comparing ourselves to other people in life. And so, and that is embedded in the brain. So our brain maps that out because we mimic what we see. So just like a baby mimics a smile, when you see a baby and you smile, they smile. We mimic. Those are our tools that we're born with. So we will mimic behaviors as we grow as well. Okay, so we're gonna be learning from our environment, and that will be influenced by the environment we live in. So ultimately, those became wounds, you know, disappointments, because I really, really wanted a party. I really wanted to be celebrated and appreciated. And I think it came down to me feeling hurt because I felt like nobody celebrated my birth. Like I was not important at that time, that nobody would buy me a present. So that's kind of a wound that came out of that. So my story is going to look different than yours. Because as we grow, again, like we're influenced by the things that happen around us. And so I lived in that sense that we were very poor, and I was unimportant in this world, and I was just, you know, just not important. Okay, so, and that's no fault of my family, because they were very kind, they were very loving, they were very generous, and that probably wasn't the intention. Those were my personal feelings as I grew, and I had to take ownership of that in order to grow myself, to understand that my story, my journey, how I feel, my emotions, all of these things are my responsibility. So how am I going to make changes? How do I influence change in myself? Well, I had to take responsibility of my own feelings and really address them and become aware of how I felt about different things, and not put blame on other people, not blame other people who were supportive and loving in my life, that, you know, they gave me so much and they taught me so much, and to really appreciate them so that I can, you know, appreciate myself. Okay, well, we will continue to talk on my money story as we progress through this journey, because I just want to identify one little part of my money story so that you can kind of get the sense of what a money story looks like, so that you're able to take those tools now and possibly apply them to your own situation and how you've been impacted. To unpack that is really, really important, to really clearly journal that out and become aware of, you know, the deep wounds that underlie behind everything that has unfolded and where you're going. So this will give you a clearer direction, and it will also help with resetting our brain. so that we can be a master at instantaneously resetting our brain, so that when things get tough, we're able to not go into a helpless mode, but to be helpful, to be able to respond in a healthy manner, not to be reactive. Rather, I would say, taking control of a situation. That's the word. We're taking control. We're stepping into ourselves. We're stepping into our power. We're being empowered. And so realistically, we want to be empowered. We want to influence our life with healthy habits, with healthy changes, with things that are matched to us personally, because we are an individual. Once we discover our identity, we can move forward through our lives, through the course of our lives, because as individuals, we all are full of skills. We all have this beautiful gift, and some of that gift has been placed in a box, okay? And no one has taught us how to step out of it. So I worked a lot around what we call the comfort zone, the sweet spot, and when we step out too far outside of our comfort zone, okay? So there are 3 components, and so there's a circle, and that circle kind of keeps us safe, okay? This is our safe zone, and it's called our comfort zone. But personal growth does not happen inside this zone. Rather, it's taking everything that we've learned to date, and it's keeping us safe and cozy and keeping us in this daily routine of getting up, going to sleep, what we know, okay? So in order to grow that, we have to step outside of that zone. And this is what we like to call the sweet spot. The sweet spot is where we grow, okay? So when you're taking a journey, you want to be able to step into your sweet zone. This is the risk zone. It's where everybody grows. And this applies to everybody. It doesn't just apply to one person or just to me. This is a tool, okay, for us to measure where we're at. And it's a little scary. But if you step too far out of it, you may be very triggered by that, very uncomfortable. So I encourage you to find your sweet spot. So the sweet spot is kind of something that you can do that is scary, but it's a baby step. You're going to, as you become closer to being advanced, expert, or master, better at doing this. And so that means your responses to things, the more empowered or in control you are, you'll notice that progress as time goes on, that the risks that you're taking are looking a lot different. And so I encourage you, like I map everything out so that I can measure progress. I journal so I can measure progress. And that is a key tool that you also need. You really need to be able to journal things and write it out, so that, this is a tool to help you to be able to go back and reflect your year, measure your progress, measure areas that maybe you didn't do so well. And so, don't look at things as a failure. You're looking at things where things didn't go so well. Well, it's just an area that, you still have to prioritize in your life, and that you're going back into that part of your life to identify areas where you still need to grow, areas that you're ready now to grow because you see it and you've developed the tools to achieve. So again, we go back, we're achieving goals. Okay, we're not just setting goals, because setting goals kind of set us up for failure. It's an expectation that we are going to get there now. Okay, so let's get rid of that. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that and just really focus on achieving goals. And so that may look different for everyone and have different timelines, because we should do things in what is called the rule of three so we don't become overwhelmed. Don't take everything on all at once, because that becomes so overwhelming and it puts us out of that sweet spot, okay? So now we're overwhelmed and we're in stress. So you know, if you're in stress while you're on your journey and you were feeling excited because you were growing, and then you became stressed, well, it's okay. You pull it back in. You assess it and you pull it back into the sweet spot. Sometimes you might have to sit in a comfort zone a little bit, but don't sit there for too long. Go take those little baby steps again. I encourage you. This is the part of the growing process. It's a part of us learning when we're in a beginning stage of anything. So I hope that this resonates with you and encourages you to take those steps, to take the leap, that you've joined me for a reason. And I'm here to hopefully empower people, share what I've learned, because this is my resource and I really love working with people. And that is a skill that I didn't know I had. I really didn't know I had this skill until, well, it's a funny story, because I was kind of tricked into doing something. And I was like, what is this? What are they tricking me into? What have they asked me to do? And so my office asked me, actually it's one of my mentors that I've had that has been such an incremental role in my life in helping guide me into my success, into becoming who I am today, in some way. So he's influenced me in some way. And so, and my good friend Lori, of course, she went with me. So she was my safety net. I said, let's do this together. So we did. And so we took that journey together, and we went to this facilitation course, and it was called Creative Facilitation at the time. I have a book and I will share that and unpack it as we walk through this journey, because it's got lots of useful tools in there that can help guide your journey when you're at the beginning stage. So anyways, so we went to this meeting. We drove an hour. It was in Surrey, BC. And we walked into this room and there were all these magazines and people were cutting up a bunch of stuff, and we're like, what is going on here? Like, what kind of thing is this? And people were cutting up a whole bunch of stuff and making their own name tags. And we're like, no name tags? Like, we're official people. Like, when we walk into a room for a meeting, it has been set where all of our name tags are pinned, they're made. It's very, there's an agenda. We have speakers, and it's very dry. So that's what I had come accustomed to. So this type of a meeting or training was very different. And so we sat in a circle where everybody introduced themselves, and kind of, they told us what we had to do, and it was very uncomfortable. And me and my friend Lori, we had, during break, we were talking, we're like, yeah, maybe we should just get out of here, because we were a little bit out of our comfort zone, and we weren't used to being out of our comfort zone this far. But here, the magic happened in an instant in this meeting. As the meeting began and everything started, the magic happened and things started to resonate. And I became excited. And I was like, wow, I didn't expect this to happen. So that was my story where I began my journey. So I was at the beginning stage, and it was very uncomfortable but exciting at the same time. So I hope these stories and everything that I've shared today will really help set the stage for your journey. If you're ready to take that leap, if you're ready to take the next steps in your life, even at the beginning stage, because today could be the day that you step into the new you, becoming the best version of you, not living in pity, but living in self-discipline, taking steps towards achieving your goals, achieving a rich and abundant life, a life that really is the life that you have mapped out, because you are the creator of your story. No one else is. Even though other people may influence your story, it's up to you to pick and choose the direction and where your life goes. And so since I began this story, the direction of my life is I've really taken a deep dive into a lot of things, and I really try to focus on bringing good people into my life that support me achieving my goals. I find that having the right focus, having the right encouragement, because this will be your support, because we all need support. So I encourage you today to continue to take the little tidbits, and I don't want to overwhelm you with too many things all at once. I just want to bring you little tidbits so that you're able to take that focus and begin your journey. So continue writing that story, as I had mentioned, and then use that little blurb that I gave you to allow magic and abundance to enter my life, and maybe see how that goes. It's kind of a experiment, I guess. That was how I was told. Okay, so just apply that to yourself. Okay, so before I go, I want to leave you with a couple more things, and I promised that I would reveal one source or one reference that you could go to, and today I'm going to introduce this book. It's by Lewis Howes, and it's called Make Money Easy: Create Financial Freedom and Live a Richer Life. And that is just one resource that I invested in because I believe in, making mindful investments, and when I want to achieve something, I'm very committed to it, and so I go all in until I'm done. So I really want you to take care of self-care, and hopefully you come back again. Remember that I do have my comments on, and I am happy to answer any questions that you might have, and I really encourage you to ask questions, because there's a lot of questions that need to be asked when we're on our beginning journey, we're on our advanced journey, when we're on our expert journey, when we're on our mastery journey. I mean, self-reflection is the key to changing our mindset. It's the key to life. So really focus in on those areas of your life that need harnessing today. Like, you may not know what that looks like until you start putting to paper your story. Your story is what is going to help you self-reflect today. All right, have a blessed day.